Welcome back, everyone. Today we're exploring the fascinating world of the Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin, one of America's most iconic and widely collected coins. From its rich history and beautiful design to rare mint errors and surprising values, this tiny penny has an incredible story to tell. Whether you found one in your pocket chain or inherited an old collection, you might be holding a coin that's worth far more than just 1 cent. Stay with us as we uncover the secrets, history, and hidden treasures behind the Lincoln cent that collectors are always searching for. Let's get started. The 1984 Lincoln 1-cent coin may look like nothing more than ordinary pocket change, but collectors know that appearances can be deceiving. Produced in massive numbers during a fascinating period of American coinage, this penny represents the final years before major changes in minting technology and composition became part of the conversation. The familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, first introduced in 1909, continued its long tradition, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse remained one of the most recognized coin designs in the United States. Millions of these cents circulated through cash registers, piggy banks, and family coin jars. Yet certain examples have become surprisingly desirable because of their condition, striking quality, or unusual mint-made characteristics that separate them from ordinary circulation pieces. Collectors often begin by studying the details that most people overlook. A sharp strike reveals crisp lettering, well-defined hair details on Lincoln's portrait, and strong lines throughout the Lincoln Memorial. The mint mark, when present, can also influence collector interest, especially when paired with exceptional preservation or unusual production characteristics. Coins from this era were struck primarily on copper-plated zinc planchets, giving them a distinctive appearance compared to the heavier bronze cents produced in earlier decades. Even slight differences in color, luster, or surface preservation can dramatically affect how collectors evaluate a coin, making careful inspection an essential first step. Among the most fascinating aspects of the 1984 Lincoln cent are the mint errors that continue to attract attention. Some collectors search for doubled design elements, particularly noticeable in lettering or portions of Lincoln's portrait, while others hope to discover off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, broad strikes, or other genuine mint-made anomalies. These varieties are uncommon, and authentic examples are usually verified by professional grading and authentication services before commanding significant collector interest. Distinguishing a true mint error from ordinary damage is one of the most important skills in coin collecting, and that difference can completely change a coin's desirability. Condition plays an equally important role. A 1984 Lincoln cent that spent decades in circulation may show heavy wear, scratches, or discoloration, while an uncirculated example stored carefully since the day it was minted can retain brilliant original luster. Professional grading assigns numerical scores based on preservation, and even a 1-point difference at the highest levels can significantly influence collector demand. This is why experienced numismatists handle valuable coins carefully, avoiding cleaning or polishing, since improper treatment can permanently reduce collector value. Stories of valuable pennies continue to inspire collectors because remarkable discoveries have happened in old collections, inherited albums, forgotten bank rolls, and jars of spare change. While most 1984 Lincoln cents are worth only face value, or a modest premium depending on condition, unusual authenticated errors or exceptionally preserved examples may bring substantially higher prices in the collector market. Illustrative examples sometimes discussed by collectors include values around $2,500 to $3,500 for certain authenticated minor varieties, about $5,000 for outstanding high-grade examples, around $6,000 for unusual verified mint anomalies, approximately $7,500 to $8,500 for especially desirable collector pieces. and in exceptional cases up to about $9,000 for extraordinary authenticated examples with outstanding rarity or historical significance. These figures are examples only, not guarantees, because every coin must be evaluated individually and market demand constantly changes. Finding a coin with real collector potential can feel like discovering a hidden opportunity, almost like uncovering something that could help with a down payment on a home or create an unexpected financial surprise. Yet successful collectors understand that patience, knowledge, and careful verification matter far more than excitement alone. Most coins encountered in everyday circulation will never reach these levels, but the possibility of finding an authentic rarity keeps the hobby exciting for millions of enthusiasts around the world. If you think you have an interesting 1984 Lincoln cent, begin with a careful examination under good lighting. Check the weight with an accurate digital scale, confirm that the metal color matches the expected composition, inspect the strike alignment, examine the rim for unusual shapes or distortions, and look closely for genuine letter doubling or other signs of mint-made varieties. Avoid cleaning the coin, since even gentle polishing can reduce its collector appeal. When a coin appears truly unusual, professional authentication and grading provide the most reliable way to determine its authenticity, condition, and potential market value. The most exciting part of coin collecting is knowing that extraordinary discoveries sometimes begin with the most ordinary-looking pocket change. A single cent tucked away in an old drawer or forgotten coin jar could tell an unexpected story about American minting history, but only careful examination and expert authentication can reveal its true significance. And if you think the 1984 Lincoln cent has surprising secrets, wait until you see the next remarkable coin that has left collectors searching through their change with a whole new sense of curiosity. Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1992 has become one of those fascinating modern pennies that quietly captures the attention of collectors, because it represents a year filled with subtle varieties, impressive production quality, and the possibility of discovering details that most people overlook every single day. Struck at the Denver Mint, this small copper-plated zinc cent carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, while the Lincoln Memorial stands proudly on the reverse. Yet beneath that ordinary appearance lies a story that has inspired countless collectors to search through pocket change, old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten coin rolls. During the early 1990s, billions of Lincoln cents entered circulation, making the 1992 seem incredibly common at first glance. But experienced collectors know that certain die varieties, striking differences, and preservation levels can transform what appears to be an ordinary penny into a remarkable conversation piece. The excitement surrounding this date comes not from every coin being valuable, but from the possibility that one exceptional example may still be hiding where nobody expects it. The production of the 1992 Lincoln cent took place during an era when the United States Mint was refining manufacturing processes while producing enormous quantities of circulating coinage to satisfy nationwide demand. Because so many dies were used throughout the year, tiny differences naturally developed as equipment wore down, dies were polished, and production continued at remarkable speed. Some coins display noticeably sharper details in Lincoln's hair and beard, while others reveal softer strikes, slightly different lettering, or subtle spacing that attracts the attention of variety specialists. Collectors carefully study the position of the mint mark, the shape of the date, the spacing between letters, and the overall appearance, because every small difference contributes another chapter to the history of the coin. These details remind us that even coins produced by advanced machinery can develop unique characteristics that make them fascinating decades after they first entered circulation. Among the most talked about aspects of the 1992 Lincoln cent is the search for unusual varieties and mint-made anomalies that continue to generate excitement throughout the hobby. Specialists inspect every letter of Liberty, every numeral in the date, and every feature of the reverse looking for doubled lettering, die cracks, die chips, off-center strikes, broad strikes, rotated dies, clip planchets, or other genuine mint errors that occurred during production rather than through damage after leaving the mint. One especially famous area of interest involves reverse lettering spacing, encouraging collectors to compare every detail with authenticated examples instead of relying on wishful thinking. Although truly significant varieties remain extremely rare, the possibility that an overlooked coin could possess an unusual characteristic keeps treasure hunters searching through thousands of ordinary cents with remarkable patience and optimism. Condition often determines whether a 1992 D Lincoln cent is simply another circulated coin or an impressive collectible worthy of serious attention. Coins that escape circulation immediately after leaving the mint frequently display bright original luster, crisp Lincoln memorial details, clean fields, and minimal contact marks, qualities that become increasingly difficult to find after decades of handling. Even tiny abrasions, fingerprints, discoloration, or improper storage can dramatically reduce collector appeal, while exceptional examples preserved in original mint condition may command significantly stronger interest. The challenge of finding a nearly flawless modern cent has encouraged many collectors to search unopened rolls, original bank-wrapped packages, and carefully preserved collections because pristine survivors become scarcer with every passing year. As stories spread through the collecting community, the value discussion naturally becomes one of the most exciting parts of the journey, but it is essential to understand that prices always depend on authenticity, rarity, condition, certification, and current market demand. Illustrative examples show how certain minor varieties or desirable characteristics might attract attention in the range of $2,500 to $3,500 under favorable circumstances, while particularly attractive high-grade coins have sometimes inspired conversations around $5,000. Genuine mint anomalies with unusual production characteristics may be discussed near $6,000, and especially desirable collector pieces could approach $7,500. Exceptionally preserved or uncommon examples sometimes inspire illustrative discussions around $8,000, while unusual finds with especially strong collector demand may reach approximately $8,500. In extraordinary situations involving historically significant or exceptionally rare authenticated examples, conversations may even approach $9,000, but these figures are examples only and should never be interpreted as guaranteed outcomes for any individual coin. Imagine discovering a forgotten 1992 D Lincoln cent inside an old family coin jar, a dusty piggy bank, or a roll received as ordinary change, only to learn after careful examination that it possesses an authentic feature collectors have searched for over many years. That moment could feel as thrilling as receiving an unexpected financial windfall, finding enough for a meaningful down payment on a home, or experiencing a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that completely changes the way you look at everyday pocket change. Yet the most successful collectors understand that excitement must always be balanced with patience, careful research, and realistic expectations, because most coins remain worth only face value while only a tiny percentage possess the combination of rarity and quality necessary to attract premium offers. Anyone evaluating a 1992 D Lincoln cent should begin with careful observation under good lighting and moderate magnification, rather than rushing to conclusions. Confirm the weight because standard copper-plated zinc cents should generally weigh about 2.5 grams, while unexpected weight differences deserve additional investigation. Study the metal color for signs of unusual composition, Inspect strike alignment to determine whether the design was properly centered. Examine the rim shape for abnormalities created during minting, and look closely for genuine letter doubling rather than machine doubling or postmint damage. Every potential discovery should be compared with reliable references, and any coin showing promising characteristics deserves professional authentication and grading before assumptions about rarity or value are made, ensuring that excitement is supported by expert evaluation rather than speculation. The remarkable story of the 1992 D. Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin proves that extraordinary possibilities can hide inside the smallest and most familiar objects, quietly waiting for someone observant enough to notice a detail everyone else ignored. Whether your coin ultimately proves to be an ordinary cent or an authenticated collectible with unusual characteristics, every careful examination deepens your appreciation for the history, craftsmanship, and mystery surrounding American coinage. The next handful of pocket change, forgotten coin roll, or inherited collection could contain a surprise that nobody expected, and somewhere another astonishing coin with an even more unbelievable story may already be waiting to challenge everything collectors think they know, making the next search even more exciting than the last. Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1982 D stands at the center of one of the most fascinating chapters in modern American coin collecting, because it was produced during a historic transition that forever changed the composition of the Lincoln cent. As rising copper prices forced the United States Mint to replace the traditional bronze alloy with a copper-plated zinc core, millions of coins rolled off the presses in Denver, while subtle differences quietly emerged among production runs. At first glance, the coin appears ordinary, carrying Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait with the date 1982 and the small D mint mark beneath it. Yet beneath that familiar appearance lies a remarkable story of changing technology, evolving manufacturing methods, and the possibility that tiny details invisible to casual observers could separate a common pocket coin from one eagerly pursued by collectors. Every scratch, every sharp edge, every unusual strike tells part of the journey, making the 1982 D cent far more than a simple piece of pocket change. The year 1982 is unlike almost any other year in the Lincoln cent series because several different varieties were produced, including large date and small date designs along with both copper and zinc compositions at different mints. This complicated production history has fueled decades of research, excitement, and debate among collectors searching through old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten coin rolls. While most 1982 D cents are common circulation pieces, specialists carefully inspect every example because the year's unusual production circumstances have created an enduring mystery that continues attracting attention. Even a small difference in lettering, date style, or striking quality can transform an overlooked coin into an object worthy of much closer examination, proving that history sometimes hides in the smallest details imaginable. Looking closely at a 1982 D Lincoln cent reveals far more than its face value. The warm reddish glow of an unworn copper-colored surface, the bright appearance of copper-plated zinc, the crispness of Lincoln's profile, the spacing within the date, and the sharpness of the mint mark all become clues in an investigation that collectors genuinely enjoy. Some coins display strong, well-centered strikes with bold lettering and clean rims, while others reveal off-center strikes, weak details, or unusual die characteristics that make them stand apart. Tiny signs of doubled lettering, die chips, die cracks, or unexpected alignment differences can become fascinating discoveries when examined carefully under proper magnification, reminding collectors that minting imperfections sometimes become the very features that increase collector interest. As excitement builds, stories often circulate about ordinary-looking 1982 D cents that unexpectedly attracted serious collector attention after closer inspection. while the overwhelming majority remain worth only face value or a modest premium. Illustrative market scenarios help explain why careful examination matters. Minor collectible variations have sometimes inspired discussions in the range of approximately $2,500 to $3,500, particularly when combined with exceptional preservation or unusual characteristics. High-grade examples may inspire conversations around $5,000, while uncommon mint anomalies have occasionally been illustrated near $6,000. Rare collector pieces might be discussed around $7,500, exceptionally preserved or uncommon coins around $8,000, unusual discoveries with strong collector demand around $8,500, and extraordinary or historically significant examples up to about $9,000. These figures are only illustrative examples of possible collector market outcomes under exceptional circumstances, and should never be viewed as guaranteed values for any specific coin. Imagine discovering an ordinary-looking penny in a forgotten coffee can, an old family collection, or a dusty coin jar, only to realize that experts believe it deserves a closer look. That possibility captures the imagination because even a single remarkable coin could represent the emotional equivalent of a down payment on a home, an unexpected financial windfall, or the thrill of a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The true excitement comes not from assuming every coin is valuable, but from knowing that history has repeatedly rewarded patient collectors who examine their coins with knowledge instead of assumptions. Every roll opened and every coin inspected carries a tiny possibility of revealing something far more interesting than anyone expected. Responsible collecting always begins with careful observation rather than wishful thinking. Start by checking the coin's weight because the different metal compositions used during 1982 produce measurable differences. Examine the overall color, looking for clues that may suggest copper or copper-plated zinc composition. Inspect the strike alignment to ensure the design is properly centered. Study the rim for unusual shapes or distortions, and carefully inspect the lettering for genuine doubling rather than ordinary wear or damage. Small differences can be meaningful, but they should always be evaluated methodically, since circulation damage, environmental effects, and optical illusions can easily imitate valuable mint errors. Patience and attention to detail remain a collector's greatest tools. Whenever a 1982 D cent appears unusually sharp, displays an uncommon feature, or seems to differ from ordinary examples, professional authentication becomes an essential step before reaching conclusions about rarity or value. Experienced grading and authentication specialists can verify composition, identify genuine mint errors, determine the correct variety, and assign an accurate grade that greatly influences collector demand. Professional evaluation protects both buyers and sellers from costly mistakes while preserving confidence in the marketplace. The most successful collectors understand that careful research, accurate measurements, trusted expert opinions, and realistic expectations are every bit as valuable as the coin itself. The Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1982 D continues to remind collectors that extraordinary stories can emerge from the smallest objects ever placed into everyday circulation, and somewhere another forgotten penny may still be waiting inside an old wallet, a dusty piggy bank, a family inheritance, or the bottom of a coin jar, quietly holding secrets that have escaped notice for decades. Whether that next discovery proves to be historically important or simply another fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the search itself keeps the adventure alive, and the next coin we'll uncover may reveal an even more astonishing mystery that few collectors have ever imagined. The Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin from 2007 D may look like an ordinary penny that disappears into pockets, jars, and cash registers every day. But beneath its familiar copper-colored surface lies a fascinating chapter in modern American coinage that many people overlook. Produced at the Denver Mint and carrying the small D mint mark beneath the date, this coin represents a period when Lincoln cents were being struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet, rather than the solid bronze composition used decades earlier. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse remains one of the most recognized images in American history, while the reverse still displays the iconic Lincoln Memorial, making 2007 one of the final years before the reverse design changed in 2009. Millions were minted, yet collectors know that surviving populations in exceptional condition tell a very different story. Most examples entered circulation immediately, gathering scratches, stains, and contact marks, while only a tiny fraction escaped with flawless surfaces that now attract serious attention from grading services and advanced collectors. At first glance, every 2007 D Lincoln cent seems identical, but experienced collectors never trust first impressions. They slowly inspect every letter in Liberty, every numeral in the date, the crispness of Lincoln's beard, the tiny folds in his jacket, and the strength of the memorial columns on the reverse. A coin with razor-sharp details, brilliant original luster, and almost no handling can stand apart from millions of ordinary examples. Even subtle differences in strike quality can dramatically affect collector interest because high-speed production at the Denver Mint sometimes resulted in weak strikes, minor die fatigue, or slight inconsistencies. These tiny manufacturing variations transform what appears to be an ordinary pocket coin into an object worthy of careful study, encouraging collectors to look beyond face value and appreciate the remarkable precision involved in every stage of its creation. The mystery deepens when error collectors begin searching for unusual examples that escaped quality control during production. Some 2007 D Lincoln cents have been reported with off-center strikes, die cracks, die chips, retained cuds, grease-filled dies that weaken portions of the design, doubled die characteristics requiring careful magnification, broad strike errors, or subtle misalignments between obverse and reverse dies. While dramatic errors remain genuinely scarce, even small mint anomalies can spark tremendous excitement because they represent moments when the minting process briefly departed from perfection. Each unusual coin becomes a frozen snapshot of industrial history, reminding collectors that even sophisticated manufacturing systems occasionally produce remarkable surprises that slip unnoticed into everyday circulation before eventually finding their way into someone's collection decades later. Imagine sorting through an old coffee can filled with forgotten pennies inherited from a relative, expecting nothing more than spare change, only to notice one unusually bright 2007 D cent that seems different from all the rest. That single moment of curiosity is what fuels the passion of countless collectors across America. Stories regularly circulate about valuable discoveries made in dresser drawers, estate sales, piggy banks, or rolls from local banks. Most searches end with common coins, yet every search carries the possibility of revealing an exceptional survivor with extraordinary eye appeal or a fascinating mint error. It is this blend of history, patience, hope, and uncertainty that transforms coin collecting into an adventure where knowledge often matters far more than luck, and every penny deserves at least a second glance before being overlooked. When collectors begin discussing potential values, the conversation becomes even more captivating, but it is essential to remember that every figure depends on authenticity, condition, rarity, collector demand, certification, and the specific characteristics of the individual coin. Illustrative examples often suggest that certain minor but desirable variations might attract interest in the range of $2,500 to $3,500. Exceptionally preserved high-grade examples may sometimes be discussed around $5,000. Unusual mint anomalies could be considered near $6,000. Particularly scarce collector pieces may approach $7,500. Exceptionally preserved or uncommon coins might inspire conversations around $8,000. Unusual discoveries with especially strong collector demand have been illustrated near $8,500, and extraordinary or historically significant examples are sometimes described as reaching up to $9,000. These numbers are examples only, never guarantees, and they should never be interpreted as the expected value of every 2007 Lincoln cent. Even so, imagining that an overlooked penny could potentially represent the equivalent of a down payment on a home, an unexpected financial windfall, or the thrill of a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, explains why so many people continue searching. Before assuming a coin has exceptional value, careful examination is absolutely essential. Begin by checking the weight with an accurate digital scale, since unexpected weight differences can indicate an unusual planchet or another minting irregularity worthy of further investigation. Observe the metal color under strong lighting because unusual tunning or an unexpected appearance may deserve additional study. Examine whether the strike is properly centered, inspect the rim for abnormal width or distortion, and use magnification to search for possible letter doubling, misplaced design elements, die cracks, or other unusual features. Compare your coin with verified reference examples instead of relying on photographs with poor lighting or exaggerated online claims. If something truly appears unusual, professional authentication and grading provide the most reliable path toward confirming whether the coin possesses genuine collector significance. The emotional appeal of the 2007 Lincoln cent extends far beyond its monetary possibilities, because every coin has traveled through countless hands, businesses, and communities, while silently witnessing ordinary moments of American life. A single cent may have been handed to a child buying candy, dropped into a charity collection, tucked away in an old wallet, or forgotten inside a family keepsake box before resurfacing years later. That journey gives each surviving coin its own invisible story, making collectors appreciate not only its physical condition, but also its historical connection to everyday life. Finding an unusually well-preserved example can feel like rescuing a tiny piece of history that somehow escaped years of wear, preserving the appearance it had on the day it first left the Denver Mint. Somewhere tonight, another 2007 Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin could still be hiding inside a coin jar, a forgotten cash drawer, a bank roll, or the loose change resting in someone's pocket, waiting for the careful observer who notices details everyone else ignores. The next remarkable discovery may not announce itself with bright colors or obvious clues, but instead with a tiny doubling, an unusual rim, an unexpected weight, or a strikingly pristine surface that deserves professional evaluation. Most coins will remain ordinary, but the rare exceptions continue to inspire collectors because genuine treasures sometimes appear in the most ordinary places. And just when you think you've seen everything a modern Lincoln cent can reveal, the next shocking coin may completely change what you believe is possible.